Hey everybody, welcome to
Howdy.
Burning Hammer Wrestling.
We're here.
Yep,
We're
again,
here. We're here.
doing another one. Today's show is presented by Clear Shots Studios.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Also in partnership with our friends over at Dubby. You can go to dubby.gg and you get right now you get 20% off. That's still a thing.
That's a good code.
Till the end of September. So you got a couple weeks here. So go do that. Use our promo code. You get 20% off. Sorry.
20. It's normally 10, but right now it's 20.
Yeah, and you support us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
and
do
it's
that.
good. It's really good.
It's good. Yeah, it is good. They have like I don't know if it's still going when this comes out, but they had like an exclusive, like limited time flavor, and it was called Grandpa's Denture Water. And I don't know what the flavor was supposed to be. It was something wild.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, that's kind
And
of
they do promo flavors all the time and stuff, don't they?
They do, yeah, they do.
I like that.
They do collabs with different artists and like streamers and shit like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
which
oh
is
yeah.
cool.
I'd
so
love
yeah,
to do that.
Head
If
over
this
there.
ever picks up enough steam,
do like our own flavor.
Our own, yeah.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's see. Where are we at here?
Do we want to?
So yeah, we can start with that.
Sure. Yeah.
So we did mention this on the episode before this, I think.
I think so.
We said it, right? So we said we were going to do this segment, and then it never happened. We just didn't do it until the banked episode we were shooting after.
Yeah, we were doing a banked episode after on purpose because we like to try to have something that is
Reserve.
off current topic
Yeah.
that we can bank in case anybody can't make it one time. We can stay on schedule.
Yeah.
But when we did that, we did them in the same day, and so our dumb
And
asses were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we never did the thing we said we were gonna do."
Because it's like, it just feels like a break because all we're doing is hitting
felt like
stop
yeah.
and then starting again.
Yeah. So we did tell each other to watch matches. We did our first matches. We bring them up on the banked episode, which will be funny because when we eventually do cash in that banked episode at some point, which it'll happen, then you're going to hear, "Oh, we already know about that one." But whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
We only got as far as mentioning we had a new segment.
Yeah.
Really
so
is.
what the segment is, if we didn't explain it in the last episode, is we are picking matches for each other to watch. So like I just have to think of a random match and then I have to find what show it was and how to watch it. Like, most of these are going to be Peacock. Some of them won't. Like if there's New Japan stuff or All
I have
Japan
a bunch
or
on
something.
my list that like I'm still confused about how I'm going to share it.
Yeah, and that's part of the challenge, is how do we get each other to be able to watch some of these obscure matches, especially if it's something on the indies or something that just there's no streaming platform that carries
even like
it.
TNA or I have some of those. Like I have Lucha Underground matches.
Yep. Lucha used to be on Netflix, but now I don't think it is. So
it was for a while.
We'll see. But anyways, we pick a match. We have each other watch it. We take notes while we're watching it and see what we think.
Yeah.
And then we'll discuss it. Kind of like a book club, but for random matches.
And it's like even matches we've probably seen before, but like forgot about. You know?
For sure, the one you gave me, I've seen before.
Yeah.
There's no question. A few times. But I hadn't seen it in such a long time that when I watched it, I was like in heaven. It was so cool. That was
like, to me,
so good.
So it was Royal Rumble 2000. It's Triple H versus Cactus Jack. And this is like, to me, this was like prime Triple H era.
I think so.
It was just like his persona at that time was just fucking awesome. And
his music stood out to me. It was his old theme.
Yeah, he still had that.
The first theme he had before the game, which I loved.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sick.
And maybe I only like it because it was so nostalgic for me. You know what I mean?
It is.
Childhood.
It's in every wrestling game. Like,
it's in No Mercy in WrestleMania 2000 for sure.
And it does have that sound. Like it reminds me of. Like it just, I think DX and Triple H and like it's like they got this weird nostalgia to it.
Yes, they do.
It's a unique
1000%
sound too.
Yeah.
That when I went back and watched it and I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was still like in this era.
Yeah, it was like when him and Steph first squatted up
Yeah.
And he became that, you know.
That was the perfect
he was
H.
champ. He was the champ in the match. That was for the WWF title.
Yeah, it was a street fight match.
Yeah, in Royal Rumble 2000 in Madison Square Garden.
Sick.
Which the set, like, I have notes. So, like, the intro video package to it was off the charts incredible.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It shows one of my favorite Foley moments that I think about all the time, which is where he wants Hunter for the title. And Hunter jumps and beats the piss out of him. He pedigrees him through a table and shit, I think on Raw. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Foley comes out and it's like, I'm too banged up to take the match now. And Triple H is in the ring all cocky, like, damn right you are. And then Mankind's like, but the fans deserve to have a replacement, and I think you know him, and takes the mask off and rips the shirt open. He's got the Cactus Jack. We've probably talked about that on the air already before, because it's one of my favorite moments of all time. Dude, when I was a kid seeing that, we were like running around the house flipping out.
I think we did mention that, and I think we mentioned it like recently.
Yeah. So that's in the build-up, but just like nobody comes close to doing anticipating matches with a video package the way WWE does. I've never seen anybody better. They are the masters of building hype for a match with a video package.
One thing that sucks too,
the music and stuff.
Like now when you watch things on Peacock, they don't have that unless you pay for the higher tier, the commercial free.
I saw it.
If you pay for the lower tier, it's like an ad supported version. Mm-hmm. And what they do is instead they will, like, I'll see it, but like on new PLEs, they'll play ads where those are.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. I don't like that.
Don't do that. Definitely get the.
You gotta have the real one. But I love how much they, in the build up to that match, they treat Cactus Jack like this fucking boogeyman, mythological creature version of Foley that's just, you don't ever want to go there with this guy ever under any circumstance.
He just doesn't know when to quit.
And at that point, hadn't he already had a match with Triple H's Cactus?
Yeah.
Right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think so.
This is 2000 and it's Royal Rumble, so
yep.
It had to have had
it. Had JR and King on commentary, which was amazing.
I think it's my favorite Triple H match. Sure.
Oh,
probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite Triple H matches.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah. Watching it back, I realized too. I was like, man,
it was kind of a hidden
this match
gem too.
made him.
Yeah,
and it gave him a validation as a tough fucker that I don't think he. I mean, it's part of the legacy of what built him into the game. Yeah. To me, it is.
I think it was such a good showcase for both of them.
Yes.
Like I think that's the reason I liked it so much.
Yep.
And also, it was just like right at the perfect like peak.
Yeah. Right at the
when
peak.
Wrestling was fucking like super hot.
So I pointed out some things I took notes on, literally on paper while I was watching this, that stood out to me throughout the match. Like Foley looked super intense and locked in during that match. Yeah. Like he's always a pretty intense performer because he gets himself in such a crazy mindset when he goes in, but he was like particularly intense and like in Triple H's face the whole match. Mm-hmm. And maybe I just hadn't seen him work in a long time. It's Foley.
It does feel like it was a bigger match.
It felt like a really high stakes, big deal match, and especially the way they worked in it. Mm-hmm. Sketchy, like, the funniest call out I had written down was JR on commentary. When Triple H, like 5 seconds of the match, they're already outside because it's a street fight. Triple H takes the bell and he hits Mankind with it, and JR goes, "Ding dong, the challenger may be dead." And I was like, what?
God damn it.
So good. But there was a bunch of sketchy chair stuff that shocked me, kind of like the
some of it
Foley did a leg drop onto the chair, onto Triple H's face. Yeah. Like the chair was like Triple H was no hands up on his back with a chair on his face. And Foley did a leg drop onto that chair.
Well,
and
that's
it
the
was
thing.
sketchy.
Both of these guys just don't, they'll go through tough spots.
Deal with it. Yeah. Sketchy chair headshot from Triple H to Jack. Like really sketchy chair headshot.
I can hear it in my head.
So bad. So bad. I made a deep dive note that you'll love. I wrote down just palate porn.
Okay.
Because the suplex on a pallet, but that's a deep dive for old social media funniness.
The pallets that's so hilarious.
That dude
having that be like a part of the match is so
it was the dumbest thing they ever did. And I remembered after watching it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the match that Triple H talks about where 5 seconds in, not literally 5 seconds, but like less than 5 minutes in, he gets suplexed on a fucking pallet for no reason. And it instant stabs a gigantic hole in his leg, like stab in his calf, and it's hosing blood the rest of the match.
Didn't need to happen.
And fucked his leg up. Yeah, just so didn't need to happen. I wrote pallet suplex stabbed Triple H's leg bad in all caps. 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire is always sketchy. Always sketchy. I loved that Triple H immediately took it away from him and was hitting him in the leg and shit with it. And that's whatever, you know, he's got clothes on. That doesn't mean it ain't cutting him. I'm sure it is. But then the way he reverses it is with the he has like he Christmas trees him with the barbed wire. He did it
that was
perfect,
so sick.
And that had to be so scary for Triple H being like, I'm begging you, dude, don't have it too far back. Bro. Tights, yeah. But the best thing with that was that I have it wrote down. So the ref took the 2x4 with the barbed wire on it at one point, and he throws it away, and then the Spanish announcers end up with the barbed wire, and they're just like, "What do we do with this shit?" And they just like put it away, and King and JR are like, "Get it out of here, dude!" Like, no. And then Cactus Jack goes out, and he throws a punch on the Spanish announcer, and then is like, "Give me the bat! Give me the bat!
So
like,
sick.
I want my 2x4."
Dude, throwing
like,
a punch at him.
He punches the Spanish announcer because he's like, I'm getting my 2x4. Then he does a running elbow to Triple H using, like, it's basically a running elbow, right? Like a really aggressive one, but just flat, like in the ring, on the mat. But he has the 2x4 with barbed wire instead and just faces him with it. And that was crazy.
There's some wild spots in that.
So, there was. And then he gets handcuffed by Triple H. And when he does, everybody starts going, oh, you don't think this is going to be like last year? Because last year was with The Rock at the Rumble in the I Quit match, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because they referenced it and they were like, "That was one of the worst things ever, man." And I was like, "They're not." And I was like, "They don't do that in this, do they?"
I think Mick Foley
they tease it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is Triple H goes out to get stairs, and Foley, with his hands behind his back, does like leg sweep drop.
He
like a drop toe hold. He does like a drop toe hold type thing, but with his hands behind his back, which is already kind of sketchy, and good on him being able to do that.
You got to drop to the ground.
But then Triple H takes the stairs and does this awesome face smash bump on it, and it looked so good, dude. So good. And then I noted that Triple H is hitting chair shots on Cactus's back, and one of them you can clearly see the chair breaks when he's doing this. He breaks the chair with the back shots. But one of them, the sketchy part of the chair that's breaking, hits the back of Foley's neck, and it looks wicked and sketchy, dude. It looked really bad.
It was a rough match.
Yeah. And then after that, Cactus Jack takes a rollout bump with his hands cuffed behind his back through the middle rope with his hands behind his back, rolls out and just dead falls onto the fucking outside. I was like, oh my God, dude. Those little bumps like
that's the shit that
that's not
Mick
a little
Foley,
bump.
That's what you get from Mick Foley, though, is like he'll do that. Yeah.
And you know, all the wrestlers or anybody that's not a wrestler but has learned enough from watching wrestling or from watching wrestlers teach how it works.
Yeah.
That's one of the spots all the wrestlers in the back watched and went, why? Why'd he do it?
Yeah, they go,
they're going, what the fuck, dude?
And then they're like, why is the bar so high now?
Exact. And then he kind of works his way to the entrance, and The Rock legit comes out of nowhere. Like the presentation, you're watching it, and Triple H is walking up to him, and The Rock is hidden behind Triple H coming from the entrance, so you can't see him. And then he just gets hit in the head by a chair, and you're like, what? Mm-hmm. And The Rock is there.
Yeah,
like they did such a good job of hiding him. And then he just bounces. He talks some bullshit to Trips and bounces.
That's all that had to happen.
And then after that, they get back to the ring, and Foley grabs a sack of a absurd amount of tacks. Yeah. Like a what the fuck amount of tacks. I was like, why? Like they're a mound.
I love
on
the way
ring,
like JR like always hypes the thumbtacks up really like extreme.
Oh yeah. And then of course, obviously the tacks, he takes a backdrop on him, and then he takes a pedigree and kicks out of the pedigree.
Out after the fucking thumbtack.
And the crowd, no, not the thumbtack one. He takes a regular pedigree and kicks out after that, and the place blows the roof off.
Doesn't he take one on
That's the finish.
Yeah.
After that, Triple H is like, fuck this. Yeah. He hits him on the tacks, and that's how he gets him. And then, and I just wrote down, unbelievable match, massively legitimized Triple H, which we talked about prior to this. I think it's one of the many matches that is one of the reasons why Foley is like so legendary for performances like that. He doesn't have to win. It's what he gave
just has
doing
to go
stuff
through
like that.
What he's going through.
Everybody's he's just so legendary, dude. It was really crazy for me going back and watching this one and just like reminiscing about my childhood, watching all these matches live, and also just like
that's why I like that match.
It's hard not to take it for granted.
The nostalgia really gets me in that match.
And it's hard not to take for granted that, like, seeing them now, like I see Triple H now on wrestling as like the guy, what he is now. He's that creative, and he's this genius. Just he's doing such great things for them right now.
Yeah, he's the face of a company.
Yeah, and he's killing it, and it's so cool to see him in that spot and see him mending so many personal bridges with guys and doing such great business and everything. Everybody loves working for him and shit, and it's cool to see. But it's hard to remember sometimes how legendary of a career the guy had. And same with Foley. When you see Foley now in interviews and stuff, he's got a gray beard, and it's not that he looks terribly old. He actually looks quite good for his age and what he's been through, you know? He moves around bad, but of course, you know,
he's hurt everywhere.
But when you see him and he's talking, he's such a gentle guy, and he's so funny and just like cracking little jokes and just having a good time and enjoying his life and stuff. It's so bonkers to think of the body of work that he put together and what he was known for and what those matches looked like.
I think
you know,
Mick gets a lot of respect for it, though.
He does. Oh my God, he's so respected.
It's just weird. Like I always felt like Triple H's career was underappreciated.
I think people always never gave him enough credit because of him being married to Steph, and they thought he was burying people and shit. It's like he was the top heel.
Yeah. But
you
things
were
so
supposed to
like,
think that.
I think he was partly overshadowed in that era with Rock and Austin, you know, like they were carrying the company. So it was like,
but he was the big heel that face.
He was,
he was the guy.
Yeah.
They don't have that level of feud with anybody else at the time.
No,
you know,
that's what I mean.
He was like the best foil for those guys.
Yeah,
he was that level. And he doesn't get the credit for it. He was that level.
No,
Triple H was Rock and Austin level in their time as their dance partners.
You needed a heel that was that good.
Yeah, he was that good, and he deserves all the credit in the world, man. And it's so when you see this match, it's so obvious.
Yeah,
you know, so obvious. Oh, and then after, I'm watching the ending, and Triple H goes out on a stretcher and stuff, and it's great. It's great, and Steph's with a Mulligan scared and stuff. But it also just showed everybody this guy can do whatever, man. He was willing to go through all this. And he's got a bunch of thumbtacks stuck in his legs and stuff from doing the pedigree on him and shit. And then Cactus Jack gets up, is in better shape than him, and goes after him, wheels him into the ring, and then fucking
thumbtacks in him.
What's he do? He hits him. Oh, he hits him with the 2x4. I'm pretty sure. He brings out the
after the match. I can't remember.
He brings him back into the ring he rolls him down on the stretcher to the ring, throws him back in, and then he gets him again with the 2x4 with the barbed wire, and then he kind of does like a victory lap in Madison Square Garden. It's so good, dude. So good. I was thinking about it. I don't know which match I like more between that one and the one with Edge with the fire table. I think this one. But they're close. Those are two of the most important, fully legitimizing a top guy.
Yeah, Edge had a lot of those though. Like, there were like ones that people forget about. Like huge.
Yeah, he had so many good matches.
Edge's like big thing. Like I feel like even the Hardys and like the Dudleys, all those guys. It's all remembered by that one match at WrestleMania 17.
Edge, I don't think it is because he had the best singles career of them all.
He had a great singles career.
I think he had the best singles career of them all.
He did for a long time.
Debatably, the second best is Christian. Which is crazy because people don't realize that because Christian never was as successful as Edge was in WWE, but he was a multi-time TNA world champion. And he was a world champion in WWE at one point.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Dudleys never had that success in WWE split. Jeff Hardy's the closest, but his personal demons hindered him, which is a bummer.
I felt like the Dudleys would be tough to have go solo. They were like the definitive tag team. Like everything they did was
one of the best tag teams ever. Yeah.
Everything was based around a tag team. Like the way they were built.
They're not the most decorated WWE tag team ever, are they? I think they are. The Dudleys. They got to be one of them.
They could be, but they spent a lot of time in TNA and
and that's where Bubba had single success as Bully.
He did.
Yeah, legitimate single success. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
So the match I gave you was
Great American Bash.
Great American Bash 97, DDP versus Macho Man.
Yeah, this was sweet, dude.
I knew you'd love it.
I don't remember this match.
I know.
97. I would have been like 6. I would have been like 6 years old.
I wanted to pick one that was from peak WCW era. You know, like peak Nitro when it was popping off, and I knew anything DDP is going to be a hit because it was him, right? And it's cool because that match, he wasn't the man yet. He wasn't the champ. This was when they finally first started putting a rocket on him and going, okay, the guy deserves it. We're going to make him. And a lot of that was Macho Man going, I got to take the diamond cutter and he's got to beat me. It's going to make his career.
Yeah.
And that match is when it really started to change
for him. The whole thing was cool. This felt like the vibe of this felt like it was like when people still thought wrestling was real. Is the way they were presenting this.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
It was like, because you have Michael Buffer doing the intros, and then you have just the whole vibe to me, I was like,
wow. It was peak WCW.
The way they presented they presented it like it was a fight, like a heavyweight fight.
Like it was a main event of like a boxing fight. Yeah, dude, so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And dude, like the part that sticks out to me is the fucking picnic. They have a fucking picnic scene set up. And they work their way out to this thing. Like they go up the ramp and take a right or whatever. And there's like a bunch of people sitting at a picnic.
Because it's like, Bash at the Beach or whatever.
Yeah, what the fuck? And it's like there's like a grill, there's like a George Foreman or some shit, and like a picnic tables and shit, and they completely destroy it, completely demolish it. I thought that was hilarious. It's like they're fighting. It's our VIP section over there.
Yeah, and it's so
clearly staged,
obviously staged for them to do that. But it's so funny, dude.
It's hilarious. Like on the side of the stage, you have like a spotlight on this weird. It's just like a green screen, basically flat on the ground. It was fucking hilarious, dude. It was a great match. I thought it was good, and it was. I didn't realize it was gonna be. what do they call it? No holds barred. Or it is a street fight effectively.
It's basically another street fight. Yeah,
it's like a hardcore match.
Mm-hmm.
But DDP's ribs are hurt. You have a lot of like Macho Man.
I'm glad you brought that up. How much of his career did he wrestle in WCW with a wrap around his fucking stomach and
That's
ribs,
a good
dude?
point.
He always,
I didn't even think about that.
of my memories of DDP, he's got that wrap around his fucking torso.
He's always hurt. Yeah, I never. Really
and he does in
that.
Yeah. He wicked does in that.
It is kind of a signature thing.
And he had a bad back, didn't he? Like his whole career, didn't he have a bad back?
I think it was something like that. He always had like a lingering injury from somewhere.
It's one of the things that stands out to me in that match is how good Macho Man still looks. And he was his prime. Everybody says his prime is the like late 80s.
Yeah,
and he's still wrestling like that in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, like everything looked really technically good, like sound.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's fucking man. He was so good. But DDP was like a great partner for this, and he was the babyface.
Yeah.
DDP was a good heel though too. Like he was a really good heel.
He was a good heel. But this was during his, it was like the ascent of his babyface run.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I enjoyed the match. I was a fan of DDP. I was always a fan of DDP.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, if I had to rank probably top 5 in WCW, he's there.
Same. If I had to do top 5 WCW guys, DDP's on there for sure.
I definitely always
It's like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero,
Sting.
DDP, Sting. Yeah. And maybe if I had to pick a 5th guy, that's tough.
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner, dude. The promos, maybe. But no, DDP. Oh, Flair. Ric Flair in WCW is my 5th. Yeah. His promos were just they're too good. It's all my favorite promos of his career.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I never really appreciated Randy Savage. The way, but it was towards the end of his career when I was. I mean, like I said, I would have been 6 when this
was going on. Yeah.
So
it was 97. I would have been 9.
It's like I didn't see that prime, I guess. But like I didn't start watching wrestling until I was 7 or 8, probably. I think that was probably around.
This was like right before.
Yeah. So it would have been right before. And like I've said before, I was watching WCW mostly.
Yeah. But think about that. It's only a year or 2 later that you're watching wrestling. Yeah. And WCW in 98, 99, 2000, it's killing. By 2000, 2001, it's going, oh. But Goldberg doesn't happen for another like year or 2.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goldberg was a little bit late.
When was Starrcade? Starrcade's later in the year, isn't it? Like December or something like that, isn't it? I don't remember, but either way, Starrcade 97 is the payoff for Sting, and that was 18 months of that. I'm pretty sure it was like a year and a half build.
That was another one that I have a match from that, or maybe 2. But I was like, how the fuck is Starrcade on Peacock? All the WCW stuff is on there.
Everything is on there. Yeah. Yep.
So I probably could have watched that match on there.
Probably could have. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to give you stuff on Peacock for a while. There's so much on there.
There's a YouTube
ECW's
link,
on there.
Easier, but...
ECW's on there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and if I get I had YouTube and I just went, here you go, and it was WCW posted, wasn't it, or WWE? I mean, just like from the vault or something, or was it? It don't matter, but. It was the full match, though.
It was the full match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. I loved the way they presented this match. That was the biggest thing to me.
Yeah.
Was like just the whole vibe of it. The presentation, they're like, this is a fight. Like, it's a fight. And it was brutal. Like, right from the start, they left the ring. There was like barely ever any time.
Which is why I loved. Like, I was thinking about that match.
They're like throwing each other through doors and like.
I was thinking about that match when we started talking about this, and I was like, I want to give him something I don't know if he's ever seen, and something that I think he'll like because it's gonna be reminiscent of that era, like the Attitude Era and stuff. And I know it'll be nostalgic for you, even if you haven't seen it. And then it worked out so perfect that you gave me Mankind and, Cactus Jack, but Foley and Triple H in a street fight. And I was like, perfect. Here's a street fight for you.
That's true.
Different company, different year, but similar era.
It stands out too that they were like, it was an exhausting match for both characters, like from the start.
Instantly. Same matches. Both matches were.
Yeah.
That was something I noticed too, is that when you watch matches today, in WWE it happens too still. Newer workers tend to not sell things the way people used to, for the worse, in my opinion.
Well, it feels like they have more stamina.
There's no permanent exhaustion.
Yeah.
There's no permanent. It's like
they're tired when it's right to be tired for this spot or whatever.
Whereas in the old days, the way guys sold is there was a health meter almost. And when it went down, you're beat and you better work the rest of the match. Like, that's all that's left in the tank.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it was in Triple H and Mankind as well.
Yeah, both of them, they felt like it was just, they were exhausted the whole
By
match.
the end of the match, you can see both guys have this much health. You know what I mean? It's
blinking red.
They're moving slower. They're dragging around. They're barely getting to stuff. When they do a move, it's clean. But it's like the last second they lock in to do it clean. But everything else around it, like hit a finisher, there's no snappy, energetic cover after. They hit it and they just go, I'm dead, and they barely get an arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was, I think another thing they did well was it's one finisher.
Yeah. One.
He hits the cutter and then that's it.
That's it. Yep. And with the Triple H and Foley match, the only reason there's two finishers, Foley never even hits his finisher. And Triple H hits the pedigree one time, and Foley kicks out of just that one. Yeah. And it's so effective that the crowd legit is going, impossible.
How is
impossible.
He living?
That cannot have happened. And he wastes zero time and goes, nope, it's going down on the tax then.
Yeah.
So it's perfect, you know?
Yeah. That's the stuff I like.
Yeah.
It's like you get into this fucking world where finishers aren't finishers anymore.
I hate that. It's one of my most hated things about modern wrestling, and it happens in all companies.
Yeah, it does.
They overuse false finishes, and every time there's a false finish, everybody sells it the exact same way, and they just go, oh.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
It's fine to have like, oh, I'm going for the cutter and then have them push you away or whatever. Like tease it a couple times, but
sure.
Like
I love that.
Like...
and Kenny Omega's was really good at that with the one-winged angel finisher. He had other signature moves he would use to set it up. Yeah, I think he's one of the best.
Signature moves are fine,
but he would do his signature moves to set it up, and then he would go for it, and people would get out of it. And if he lost the match, generally, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, 19 times out of 20 times, 99 out of 100, whatever. It was rare.
Yeah.
He would always, if he was losing a match, he'd be going after the one-winged angel and never really get it all the way.
Yeah, he's looking
and
to
he would
that.
lose before he hit it all the way. And then when he did win, it was usually because he got it once.
Yeah.
And he might be, and there's times he would beat guys without using it. He would just do other stuff, V-trigger or whatever, you know. He would do some of his signature moves and show you they have what it takes to win.
Like I said, signatures are fine. Like I love Triple H's spine buster and like
his running knee, his running lifting knee is the best I've ever seen, dude.
Yep. A lot of the shit though, even just Rock going punch, punch, punch. Look at the hand, punch. Yep. It's like just that kind of shit is awesome. You can use that a couple times in a match.
Absolutely.
Like, don't hit the rock bottom 7 times.
And everybody kicks out, and every time everyone looks shocked, and it's like
it's not that shocking.
It's not shocking.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And that is.
I'd rather have guys try to do their finishers and miss than have them hit it and guys kick out over and over again. Because then you're just telling the audience nobody has powerful finishers.
Yeah, I just liked that when he hit the cutter, dude. It felt like it was over. Yeah, that was it.
And it was.
It was over.
He hits it, and it is done.
Yeah, and I think even the crowd understood that.
Yeah,
at that point. They were like, oh, fuck, if he hits that, that's it.
And that's what is good about it, because the second he hits
it,
you
finisher.
Don't even need the pin. If he hits it, the crowd's like, he's going to win. No way. Like they're flipping, you know? That's how it was for me as a kid. I remember watching.
And that's what makes kicking out of the pedigree so huge. Because it's like when you hit it, you think it's over. It is over. That's a 3 count.
The moment I always think about is WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. The way having finishers protected had such a huge role in the ending of that match. The way that they just wrestled for an hour and the last like 30 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is the only time Brett finally gets the sharpshooter locked in, and you're going, no way.
Yeah.
It's over. The boyhood dream is over. And Sean's my favorite wrestler of all time when I'm freaking, when was that, 96 or something? I would have been 8. He's my favorite wrestler in the world. He's never been world champion.
Yeah,
and I'm watching that at 8, watching my hero wrestle for an hour against Bret Hart, and in the last 20 seconds, they're going to take it away. And I'm like on the edge of my seat going, no, like flipping out, dude.
He's not getting
and then the bell, the time goes out, and he never tapped. And then when they do the like sudden death, the overtime for it.
Yeah.
And Sean hits the chin music. It's out of nowhere, and it's in desperation. He didn't really get all of it. And he goes down. He can't capitalize on it because they just wrestled for an hour. But as a kid, I was like, oh my God, like he hit it. He hit it. He's going to win or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and he starts tuning the band up. And as a kid, I got up and was standing in the middle of my living room, like about to cry. Because of anticipation, like, oh my God, he's gonna win. It's gonna happen.
Part of the storytelling, like in-ring storytelling.
And then he hits that one perfect chin music, and he gets him, and he wins the title, and he just rolls over onto his knees, and he has the belt in his hands on his knees or whatever, and he's crying and shit.
Fucking epic.
That picture, dude, of that. I don't know. One of the WWE photographers took it, like a professional photo of him in the ring on his knees with the belt in his hands, just looking at the belt. That's like that picture to me is if like when it's like 30, 40 years from now, Shawn Michaels is dead. When I think of Shawn, that one image will be the image I think of first.
It's like the Jordan dunking from the foul line.
Yes. Yep.
To me, yeah. It's the same thing.
Or the shot, like the Jordan one where he's like up hitting the
game winner,
winner, and yeah. I love pictures like that.
Yeah,
these iconic photos that just represent somebody so perfectly.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of one, seeing we just brought that up, for other wrestlers, and I think for Mick Foley, weirdly enough, it would be at his misfortune, and it would be the picture they have from the rafters looking down of Undertaker standing on top of the cell, and it's from like up here looking down, and you can see the back of Taker's head looking down at Foley just crumbled on the ring.
I think the one I like too is from the table, like looking up as he's falling like this, and then Taker's looking down.
That's a good one too, where he's like in the air rolling, dude. Wow, yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Oh, God. But yeah, I want to do these all the time because
I know it was so sick, man. It swallowed up half our podcast talking about it, and it was completely worth it.
Yeah, maybe we should like do a 10-minute thing or limit it or something.
Yeah,
it's hard not to.
It's hard not to just ooze over it though, because there's so much to talk about. But it's okay. We'll tighten that up, but it was worth it. Having said that, there's not a ton to talk about in current stuff.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
I really don't have that many notes.
Me neither. There's not much to talk about. Bad Blood is going to be sick.
Let's see. Oh man, yeah. I guess half of my notes are the fucking DDP match. So I think here's one thing I did want to say was Joe Hendry. I feel like the booking. I feel like his booking right now is weird, very weird.
Yeah.
Like it's like bordering into like NXT is like. I think NXT is doing a better job booking him than TNA is right now.
Yes. Here's the thing.
They had the guy Alexander.
He's the most over guy in NXT right now by quite a bit.
Yep.
And he's not a WWE talent.
Well, they just had the fucking match, and they set up this whole thing with Josh Alexander in that match. Like it was right there on the silver platter.
Yep.
They didn't
go there.
Do anything with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I'm just like, well, so NXT, but somehow NXT's booking him the right way.
And I feel like the reason why is because Hendry's super over, and everybody on TNA and WWE side knows this guy was made for WWE. And as soon as his contract is up with TNA, he's getting the checkbook thrown at him. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to be in NXT long. He's going to come in, he'll be there permanently, and he'll go straight to the main event. Not main event of WWE, but the main roster, rather.
He might just go to the main roster.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on main roster while still at TNA.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if I see it. Like in the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Rumble's only a few months away. I guarantee Joe Hendry's in the Rumble.
Why wouldn't they be able to? I don't see why.
Dude, the crowd's going to go insane when he comes out in the Rumble. He has to. He's been teasing it by saying, I will show up anywhere on any show anytime.
Yeah.
Just say my name and just say his name and he appears.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You know what I mean? It's perfect.
That is a good.
Yeah. He is going to be at Rumble. He has to.
Yeah, he does. Dude.
Has to.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
That's going to be huge pop. Humongous, dude. Can't wait.
Who else? So
they need Big Papa Pump. He can barely walk. They need Big Papa Pump. Can you imagine the sirens hit and everyone thinks that it's Braun? Because he has a siren now or whatever, too, doesn't he? And this Big Papa Pump.
Oh, my God.
I feel so bad for him because he does have, he had the major foot injury, so he's got the boot with the lift in it and shit.
Well,
there's just no chance he can work anymore.
It's so hard to predict fucking,
But only if he comes out with a mic.
Surprise entrance.
Could you imagine if he started managing Braun and they consistently put a mic in Scott's hands?
I don't think they'd.
Never.
Well,
no. I think if Triple H got on good enough terms with him, because he hates Triple H's guts.
Yeah, I don't think that would.
But with how good Triple H has been using Braun and how hard he's worked to show people he's a different guy now behind the scenes and mend fences.
Yeah.
I think he's probably in a different place with those guys now, you know?
Well, that's what I mean. I think it would be, you'd have to have not Triple H. I don't know. I don't think it would happen under Triple H, to be honest with you.
No.
And even with Netflix,
good luck
not having as many
anybody
restrictions.
Allow it. Yeah, because he's going to say stuff that it doesn't matter what your restrictions are, you're canceled.
That's what I mean. It's like even there,
yeah,
you're not going to really be able to deal with that.
He's
you can't
too
give guys
shot.
too much. Yeah,
he's too shot.
Yeah,
I love it. But he's too shot. But you just can't give him a mic.
It's not made for that company.
No. He's not made for any company, honestly. Not anymore.
No, he would have to be his own company.
Yeah, and that'll get him canceled. You know?
Yeah.
There's only, cancel.
I would watch it.
It is what it is. It'd get him in extremely hot water with
I'd watch
all sides.
I'd still watch his demonetized Facebook or his
if he started putting on YouTube page, oh my God. I wish so bad he would do a podcast. And not even because I think he would say wicked fucked up shit. He would. That's not up for debate.
Yeah.
But also just the stories he's got to have. Him and Rick have had such crazy careers, man. They've seen everything.
They were huge when I started watching.
They're one of the biggest tag teams of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about when I started watching, too, was when they were really fucking big.
Like before he turned heel and joined NWO and stuff? Yeah.
Yep. Well, everybody was.
Did he still have the long brown hair and clean shaven and wearing the wrestling singlets and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a sick dude. He was a freak. He was a super freak athlete then.
Did they have the fucking earmuff things? I can't remember.
Rick did. Rick always did. Yeah,
that's right.
I was watching a podcast recently. I was listening to 83 Weeks because they did an episode talking about the WCW Hall of Fame. There isn't one, so they did a hypothetical.
Yeah,
who'd be like the first ballot guys, right?
I never thought about that.
And they talked about tag teams, and the Steiner brothers were on there. They talked about single stars, and Ron Simmons was on there because he was the first African American world champion, which is true.
I can see that.
He's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
But then they told a funny story that they talked about that happened with Ron. He used to be in a tag team with a guy named Butch Reid, I think his name was. Another big, huge, jacked up African American guy. They were a tag team or whatever, right?
Sounds like a wrestler name.
And they mention how in the back the Steiners used to haze the shit out of Butch Reid. They used to fucking glue his fucking bag to the ground and stupid shit. Just bullshit. The Steiners would always rib people in the back and shit, right?
Yeah.
And they never did jack shit to Simmons. And I think it was, who was it? It was like Hogan, I think, tells the story, or it was Flair, I think. Ric Flair was telling Conrad this and was saying how hard and respected Simmons was and how Flair was in it and saw them doing that to Butch's bag or whatever. And he was like, why don't they ever fuck with you, Ron? If they're fucking with him so much, he's your tag partner. He goes, I'm unfuckwithable. And then Flair just goes, okay. Yeah, dude. Like, nobody was testing him. Nobody was testing him, dude. He was such a hard badass. Yeah. He's like one of the greatest college football players of all time, apparently. I'm not a huge college football guy, but that's the rumor.
Where did he play?
I think he's a Heisman winner. I don't know. You'd have to look it up, but yeah.
That would have been before
Simmons was just a MAGA legend, dude. And a very valid Hall of Fame talent. And by all accounts, like, look at his face. I look at him and I just can't think of him as a hard badass because he's always just got a smirk and being wicked funny and shit.
His mustache, dude.
He's hilarious. But look at him there, dude.
Florida State.
He's considered one of their greatest recruiting victories of Florida State. Signed out of high school, of course, yeah. He played 4 years, 77 to 80, as a defensive nose guard at FSU. What?
Oh my God! The Florida State was 39-8 during his years,
and he was a consensus All-American in 79 and 80. 39
Finished
and 80.
9th in the Heisman voting, so he was in the voting for it.
Holy shit!
Where did he play? What was he? A linebacker or something?
No, he was. It just said he was a nose guard, defensive nose guard.
Defensive nose guard.
Yep.
Holy shit!
Back-to-back Orange Bowl trips.
Yeah, that's
he's crazy,
trenches, dude. That's
he was in the NFL briefly. He played on the Browns.
Yeah, had a cup of coffee with the Cleveland Browns, huh?
Yeah, and then he went to Jim Crockett.
He went to the Canadian Football
86?
League. Then he went to the USFL when that was a thing. Holy shit!
And that's when he met Luger.
Damn.
And got into wrestling, and he was so good in wrestling.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep, he's legit.
Yeah, that I wouldn't fuck with that guy, I guess.
Oh.
Dude, I don't want to fuck with any nose tackles or defensive ends or any of that shit. They are so big, dude. Yeah. They are huge guys.
It's just crazy.
Their job is to get around other huge guys and hit the quarterback as hard as they can.
Yeah. And he was a standout, dude. He was a consensus All-American. That's crazy. But it's just funny because the Steiners were well known to just be these monster badasses.
Yeah. And
and they're like, we're cool with that guy. We're not going to fuck with him.
I like that guy.
Yeah, I like that guy. He's hard. We're not going to fuck with him. That's so funny, dude.
Shit. Yeah. Like, as far as Royal Rumble predictions, like, I don't know how you could predict who the only way, like, within like the first couple weeks of Royal Rumble, that's when you start to hear rumblings about like who might be in it,
who's going to be around and stuff.
But I don't think like ahead of time you could ever. Sometimes there's not even that many surprise entries. Like at all.
I don't think there was that many, if any. Last year, no, it was all new guys.
But Joe Hendry will be one.
He will be in it. Yep, he will absolutely be in it, guaranteed.
I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised if he's not.
Absolutely, take it to the bank. He will be in it.
Oh, and then I liked the It was Raw. It was Raw last. It was the most recent Raw, I think. Yeah,
that just happened this week.
Opened with a street fight,
and it was incredible.
Wyatts. Yeah, it was really good.
Really good.
And man, dude, people like fucking. For some reason, people are like still like, oh, I'm so over the Wyatts. Like this is like, it's like, what are you talking about? None of this is like.
It was so good.
They've given you no reason to dislike it yet.
Nope.
Like nothing. There has not been a reason for that. Like this match right here proves that they're here to like fuck shit up.
They're so good.
That match, dude. Like when you look at the overhead picture of, there was a overhead shot, like they put it on like Instagram or something
of the ring and the aftermath, dude.
And that's the opening.
The place
match
was torn apart. Dude.
They destroyed the announce tables, like fucking.
Dude, Rowan ripped the side of the barrier, booted it off, and then used it as a battering ram on guys. That was awesome, dude.
And Howdy's just sitting there laughing in that chair.
I feel like everybody in the match had multiple awesome spots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And showcased so well. Everybody.
Yeah, I think Nikki Cross
looked amazing.
Yeah, that was great to see that.
She did a German on fucking Chad.
Yeah, what? That was wild.
Sick. Chad did an angle slam to a dude through a table.
Mm-hmm.
That was, dude,
oh my God. I feel like we say it every time, but Chad Gable is fucking incredible.
He's phenomenal.
He is so goddamn good.
Him and those guys, like, it's so perfect because he left Alpha Academy because Alpha Academy was finally starting to get traction with the other guys, and they didn't need him anymore. And they built a good story between it, you know? And now they're all coming into their own. And Otis is over, and Akira is even getting cheers and stuff. And Maxine is like really getting cheered and stuff. And every time you see her in a match, she's noticeably way better.
Yeah, like by a lot.
Dude.
Yeah, it's very crazy how
crazy.
Incrementally
she's getting good fast.
Yeah.
And then. So he then goes with these new guys that are from NXT that are also wrestling background guys. They need that. They need a guy who can help legitimize them and stuff.
Is like, I'm the guy who shows you. I'm the teacher guy.
And those guys are good. They're really good. Yeah. And they really were good in this match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, really good.
Yep.
So was Ivy Nile, dude. She's jacked. She's wicked good.
Yeah, there were some wild spots in that match. Really fucking cool to open the show with.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I think Gable is going to be one of those guys. Like, Gable and Dom are going to be guys that we talk about in like
for years and years, dude.
Those two are going to be big names.
Big time legends that are going to be around a long time.
They have
Dom and Gable, man.
Over them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
I'm not going to be surprised when they're
Did you see what Triple H announced, like, literally today?
No.
SmackDown, you know how SmackDown is moving to USA now? They're leaving Fox. For the inaugural SmackDown on USA, the opening match of the night is Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in a steel cage match.
What? On SmackDown?
To open tomorrow night SmackDown on USA.
Shit.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And Raw is finally, after all these years, going to 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's going to be good, man.
I don't know if it'll stay that when it goes to Netflix, but...
Hard to say.
Yeah, but I think I do like that.
Yeah.
But also, it's like there's a lot of storylines. Like, where are you going to find time for all of it?
There's a lot of fat they'll be able to cut on Netflix, though.
That's true.
They're not going to have to do as many ad breaks and shit.
I also read that they're going to cut down on live shows.
Yes, which is good.
Like
I love.
Shows. Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get people being pissed if they live in some of the side towns that are going to miss
here,
out.
It's like if we wanted to go to Syracuse, they're not going to come here as much.
I bet they still will sometimes, but they're going to mix it up.
Yeah,
they won't come as much. It's going to be less. It's going to be more Albany or Rochester because they have bigger.
You could still just go there.
Or Buffalo. Probably more likely Buffalo.
Yeah.
Because it's really close to Canadian border.
Plus, you can just go to Bills.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an indoor stadium, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know if they'll ever do that. Like but if they did a big pay-per-view, it would be there. But a lot of times the big ones they
stadium. The Bills are.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
They're building a new I don't know if it's outdoor. It's probably an outdoor stadium, but
either way, though, I overall, as a fan of wrestling, I support it because it's going to mean less dates for the guys without impacting pay because they're salaried guys now. They'll have downsides and they're on salary. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
They don't have to work as many dates.
It's just less wear and tear on
instantly going to facilitate some longevity for people's careers.
And it's less just better for morale.
Yeah.
You know, it's like any workplace. If you have more
they don't need to be doing 300 days a year. That's ridiculous.
No.
They just don't. They're going to 250 right now.
And then they're going to go to 200.
And next year they're going to 200.
Yeah.
I like that. That's smart.
I do too.
Cut the dates. 200 dates a year is a fuck ton.
Well, the explanation too is like it was like these are like marginal shows. They're not making like a lot of money.
They make a little bit of money.
They do, but
it's not. It's not enough.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not. It doesn't matter. Worth what they're giving.
They don't need to do an untelevised live show at the Syracuse War Memorial to 2,000 people or whatever,
Right.
you know, or 1,500 or whatever, and they might make $100,000 on it, or a couple $100,000 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In profit after paying people and shit, it's probably close to nothing.
They'll probably charge more
Merch sales
for tickets.
Merch sales, yeah,
at their shows.
I hope not.
They already pretty expensive.
Yeah, I get it.
It's expensive to go to anything now, though.
It's not even my preferred way to view the product. Like wrestling is like, I've been to shows, but I've already been. And I've had good times at shows. I've been to a pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden. And I saw the last televised Raw in Syracuse when I was a kid. And like, I've seen cool things in the arena. And far and away, I prefer watching it on TV with the commentary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even close. I'd much rather watch the presentation with commentary. I feel like watching it live without having that play-by-play hurts it for me.
It's like
I prefer it with play-by-play.
Man, it's like television broadcast now is totally a different thing. Like, you get such good, like, you get angles, you get like things that you wouldn't see. You just get things you wouldn't experience.
To me, it's just the definitive way to experience it.
Yeah.
Not that going live is not cool. It is a really special, indescribable event. Yeah. If you've never been to see wrestling live, you should.
Well, the difference
but
is,
as somebody who has, I'm good. Unless something major happens.
Part of the show, like, so commentary is part of the show in wrestling.
It is. And you don't get it live.
It's not part of the show in professional football or baseball or whatever.
True.
It isn't part of the
Yeah, and I don't mean all live sports is not worth it. I don't even mean that live wrestling isn't worth it. Just I like it with commentary.
Yeah.
You know?
It does enhance things in anything, in any sport, I guess. But like it's like so for football, I'd rather be there. But with something like that, maybe even the UFC, I wouldn't mind having commentary.
Yeah, me too. I would prefer it with commentary.
But I've never been to a UFC event, so
Same.
That's something I need to do at some point.
Good luck. Tickets are so fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing that thing in the Sphere too coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do for that, but that would be wild to do if WWE booked that, and they will at some point.
You better believe they will. And I don't care as long as Roman Reigns is on there and we get to see that fucking PS2 graphics Roman go. I've got to see that.
Is it?
That needs it. They don't do it. They need to bring it back.
They got rid of that.
Bring back the corny AR. All the other ones can go away. Bring back just the Roman Reigns doing the thing. It's
they got rid
hilarious,
of it, like,
and
right
I want
around
it.
when I started talking shit about it on the show.
Probably,
which is suspicious.
It is, yeah. They're watching us.
I feel like Triple H might be like listening in a little bit.
Something tells me he's not. But if he is, we love you.
Yeah, we'll get him in.
Sure, we will. Yeah. I wouldn't even know what to say.
To have the game.
If the game was here in your house, and I was, dude, no way. I would be sitting here like Chris Farley on that SNL skit, just like, do you remember the time that you had that match with Taker?
Yeah.
And he did the power bomb and you had the hammer and shit. That was so sick. And he'd be like,
do you have mushrooms? Do you like mushrooms on your pizza or what kind of?
Yeah. What do I ask you?
That's always the hardest thing for me.
I wouldn't even want to have someone like that on because I'd go, I don't have questions to ask you.
I don't know what
just
to
so
ask.
you know.
Right.
You've been asked everything, and I saw those interviews.
I saw all of it, yeah.
For sure. So I don't have questions. Do you? I don't know, like, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you got a book you're selling, let's just talk about the book all the time. I don't care.
Just let him plug whatever.
Go, because I don't. What am I gonna ask you? What am I gonna ask you? How does it feel winning a world title? Like, no, like it's stupid, dude. Like, there's nothing I could ask you where I wouldn't feel like a fucking bozo.
Yeah.
And
Do
be
you
like
wrestling?
This. Do you wrestling?
Is wrestling fun for you?
Oh my God. Yeah, a guy who now can't anymore. And it was his favorite thing in the world was wrestling. And we're like, do you love wrestling? Isn't it the best?
How does it feel to not be able to do that?
Is it crazy wrestling in the ring? And he's just like, cool. Thank you. I'm glad you're reminding me my career's over.
Yeah, it's weird to me because like people still interview. Like, I don't know, a lot of these, any celebrity, honestly, I wouldn't know how to interview them.
Honestly, I think a question I would ask Triple H is, I would try to think of weird stuff, not weird, but stuff about what it's like actually being in the business. As somebody who's always loved it my entire life and have always been so interested. At one point, I wanted to be in wrestling, not even as a wrestler. I'm a musician my whole life. I badly wanted to try to figure out a way to get in on the department there that does the music for the guys. It just doesn't really work like that, you know? It just doesn't really work like that. You're better off trying to be in a band that gets successful and strike up some kind of friendship with one of the guys and then do their theme. Yeah.
At that point, have the profile already.
But I would have loved so much to work under Jim Johnson, the guy that did all the best themes from the 80s and 90s and stuff. He was the man. He's the genius of it. I would have loved to do that. I think I would
like to, if I would think I would probably ask Triple H about the way, like, why he approaches this philosophy that way, like the way he runs the show.
What are you seeing that causes you to
because
he things this way?
He went through his whole career with
killing.
I think it's because he went through his whole career with Vince. He's close to Vince. He knows the way he runs it, and I think Triple H goes, like, every step of the way. He was probably going, I think I would do it this way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like in his head.
Yeah.
Because even with anybody, with their job or whatever, they're always going, I think if I was doing this, I would do it this way.
Why aren't we doing 2 hours?
Yeah.
It's tighter and it's more intense and it leaves people wanting more.
I think anybody.
Why don't we do 2 hours? You know, he's got it. And I don't know if that's his reasons, but that's a good question. Like, what are you seeing that other people might not be?
Right.
That are causing you to make the decisions you're making right now.
I think that's all.
Because you can't miss. Everything you're doing right now is better than perfect. Yeah. It's just 650-foot world record home runs.
Shots,
It's only world record after world record home run.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And
he's fucking...
what do you look for? What do you look for in talent that people might not think of? Like, not necessarily in the ring. But is there any giveaway? Like, is there anything you see in a talent? You don't have to pick a specific one, but is there anything you see in a talent when they're under your umbrella, behind the scenes or out in the stage, that when you see it, you go, I don't know about this guy?
I would say Triple H.
Can you even say?
He probably, so he worked more closely with other performers than Vince did.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because he was, Vince isn't working alongside other wrestlers. He's working alongside suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Triple H has that, that's going for him just because of that experience. But
his experience as a top guy is what makes him so invaluable.
Right. He knows more about what it goes into.
Yeah, and he's legitimized in a way nobody else that's ever ran a wrestling company has ever been.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Vince didn't start as a wrestler. Triple H started as a wrestler.
Triple H didn't just start as a wrestler. He's the most underrated Mount Rushmore level guy ever who wrestled.
Isn't that crazy that he's underrated?
He's underrated.
Triple H is underrated?
Yeah. He wrestled during the greatest era at the highest level against the biggest, most successful guys of all time for his whole career. You know?
Yeah.
For his whole career.
You can't not take anything away from that.
Yep. He's so well respected by so many of the most respected guys that know. And the only people that hate him usually only hate him because he was a top guy and they wanted to be top guys. Not that there wasn't things he did or said. I don't know.
The respect from the talent, too, I think it makes them have a lot more confidence in you. And therefore, it's going to give you confidence.
To do something or tells you this is what I'm thinking.
Yes. Then they go out there.
Why.
They go out there going, okay, this is like, I trust him. I can do that. Like,
which Vince had a lot of that only because he was so successful in the beginning and for that first original run of success. But a guy like Triple H, it's like if Triple H, it's like with Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson was Vince's guy that had that respect from the wrestlers. Where if you went to Pat Patterson with an idea for a match, and he said, "Well, how about you do this?" I'm not even going to try to do his accent, and he says, "Well, I think you should do this, and here's why." The guys are going to take it to the fucking bank.
Yeah.
Because they're going, he does know. He knows, and he knows better than I do.
Right.
I'm going to do what he said, and I'm not even questioning it.
Yeah. You want to hear it from...
I'm just under the learning tree only.
The worker, yeah.
Yeah, And so
tree.
a lot of these... I know, yeah, Chris Jericho. But yeah, a lot of these guys just... That's how it is, They... And that's one of the things a lot of people say about AEW that is still tough. Is a lot of these guys are leaving now, like Mark Henry and Arn Anderson and stuff that are going, if people came up to me and asked for advice, I'd give them. Mm-hmm. But nobody cares. They just all have it figured out, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think it's a different level when you're
and that's,
a guy in
to
a suit
me,
and tie
I just don't like that.
A guy who's worked in the industry and worked alongside.
Yep.
He's worked alongside some of these guys that are here, the Randy Ortons, and, Cena's and all those guys.
Triple H made Orton.
Right.
Made him. Made Batista.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a different...
He made a lot more guys than people give him credit for. And in a time when people were screaming bloody murder, he just takes the sledgehammer to everybody's career.
Right.
The Reign of Terror.
It's the same thing.
You mean him making Benoit at WrestleMania 20?
Well, you get that with Cena, too.
Tapping out to the crossface.
Yeah. But you see it with Super Cena and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's bull.
It's because top,
so many people can't understand that losing to the biggest guy in the company is better for your career than winning to who cares.
It's called a rub.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's been a thing forever, dude. We just talked about the Foley and Triple H match. Foley had such a legendary performance in a loss, a career-defining performance in a loss that added to his respect and legacy meter. So huge.
Yeah.
It didn't. It wasn't about a win or loss. It doesn't matter.
XP points.
It's everything up to the pinfall is what matters.
Yeah. His EXP dude went way up.
Way up. Yep. He maxed out his level.
That's exactly what it is. It's all XP. Mm-hmm. All right, we're at about our time. Let's say our matches because we don't want to forget about that.
Yes. Okay.
What do we got here next? I've tried to order them like in a way where I'm like spreading companies out a little bit. Let me bring up
my list.
This one's good too. I'm gonna watch it again too. I'm gonna also watch my match that I'm telling you. I'm watching both
my list
every time. So this is King of the Ring 2001. It is Shane McMahon versus Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah. Okay, that you said King of the Ring 2001?
2001, Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle. That's my pick.
Oh yeah.
Second one on my list.
I'll have to get back to you on I'll have to send you the exact event again, and I'll find it for you. But I'm thinking it's going to be another WCW match, which is, I'm trying to remember what the event was. I guess it doesn't matter, but it's not. I was thinking about doing Ray versus Eddie at Halloween Havoc. Yeah. But no, this one's actually way older, like I think late 80s, but it's Sting versus Flair.
Okay.
And it was the night that Sting was made. And he's like Surfer Sting.
This is old.
Yeah, old Sting. It's like late 80s. Blonde, it might be early Sting. 90s, but I'm pretty sure it's late 80s WCW.
Flat top Sting.
But I'll find the exact event and send it to you. Okay. But yeah, a lot of mine for now are probably going to be some older kind of important history ones where you saw guys get made because it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's cool to go back and see that stuff.
Yeah. I just want to find like classics that are kind of hidden. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because like everybody thinks about the Mania matches and the big events, not like like on a Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the big match is the Rumble usually.
Well, that's why I'm trying to
of.
dig for stuff that's either before your time or is stuff that even if it was during your time, you might not have seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, I forgot half of the WrestleMania 28 matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't remember any of those.
Exactly.
Like undercard matches or whatever. I don't remember that shit. So we'll talk about them next time. Next time we shoot.
Sounds good. I'll find that match for you and send it to you.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna watch mine and yours.
Same. Yeah, I watched both this last time too.
Because I need a refresher on it. But like a lot of these are just ones that I had watched somewhat recently, and I'm like, okay.
Like that match, I haven't watched in years. The one I just gave you.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna also watch it.
Yeah. Some of them just popped in my head, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that one's got."
Well, that's what it was with that. You always hear about
we'll probably have some
match
of the same
that made
ones.
Sting. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably will have some of the same ones,
and I'll just watch them again.
Yep. Oh yeah.
All right. Go to w.gg. Use the promo code. You get 20% off till the end of September.
Do it.
Go to the website. Go to our merch page. Buy some of that stuff. Support the show. And I don't know. I guess that's it.
Yeah,
I got nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Unless Triple H wants to plug something here.
Yep. Come on in, Triple H. What a fucking joke.
He comes in
Surprise.
and then we cut the show.
Yeah. We'll see you next time with Triple H.
That'd be the teaser of the year.
He'd be like, fuck off. I've got 5 minutes.
That's all we need.
Don't waste my fucking time. Or whatever.
Yeah. If he gives us 30 seconds, I'll be fine.
Yep.
All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hell
Thank you for watching.
Peace out.